Yo everyone, what's going on? Couriway here, and in this video, I answered a bunch of your Minecraft speedrunning questions. Because of what I do, I get a lot of questions asked to me that are super similar to each other, and it's hard to answer everyone individually without repeating myself so much in a stream or in the comments. So I thought the best way to solve that issue was to make a dedicated video to help people learn. This was done live on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Couriway, so follow me over there to see more speedrunning content daily. I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really want to try and push for 250,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. That would be insane. But that'll do it for me. Thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy the video. So, I have been wanting to do a video. I'm wanting to do a video where I take all the questions that I get asked like 27,000 times, and we answer them in a stream. So I need your help with that. Why is 1.17 bad? That is a good one. That is a really good one. So let's start with that one. Minecraft Piglin trades before and after 1.16.1. So, here are the barters. There are three things that are important. Ender pearls, string, and obsidian. Obsidian, you have basically a 10% chance to get one every time, which is really good. Because you only usually need like 3 or 4 when you're doing Piglin trades from a Bastion, because you're most likely going to get all the obsidian you need in chests and stuff. And then string and ender pearls are the two big ones, which you have about a 5% chance of getting 4 to 8 ender pearls or 8 to 24 string. Ender pearls are infinitely more valuable than string, though, because you can get like sheep, you can get beds from villages, you can get a whole bunch of stuff, but string is still nice. Ender pearls 4 to 8 is the big one. So if we go to here in the new bartering table, this is 2 to 4, which is not good. And it's only a 2% chance. And string is then only 3 to 9 at like a 4.3% chance. And then obsidian is 1 at 9. So everything is worse. Literally everything. This right here is the main reason why no one runs any more recent version. It's not the only reason. Because Piglin brutes don't exist in 1. Whatever. Okay, this dude right here, he's bad. We don't like him. He sucks. You know why? Because you can't do a lot with them. They just aggro you, and they do a lot of damage, and they're not a fun time. They're just straight up not a fun time. You can't trade with them. You can't de-aggro them. They suck. And they were added in 1.16.2. So in 1.16.1, I get comments all the time that are like, streamer, YouTuber guy, why do you not have Piglin brutes? How do you get around them? I don't get around them. I get around the version they're in. They just dip, dude. I'm out. I don't want to deal with them. That's why we play 1.16.1, okay? That is why we play 1.16.1. Those are the two mega reasons. These people are in 1.17. So sometimes people don't understand that. Like, 1.17 won't magically, like, revert Piglin trades. 1.17 won't magically revert Piglin brutes. It'll be the same category. Like, there's no anything that has been like teased or shown or anything at all that would make people think that 1.17 is going to be a different version for speedrunning than 1.16. It'll be the same category. So everyone will still run 1.16.1, similar to how everyone in the other categories runs like a certain version that's best for speedrunning. 1.17 strongholds are deeper and not exposed. That too is another major issue. So 1.17 also just adds things that are bad because you're going to have to dig farther down. You're going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff that's going to suck. And it's just not fun. It's just not fun. So don't play 1.17 if you want to like actually speedrun for like world record or a good time and you want to take it seriously. Why do you get Dandelions and Bowls? Okay, we can do that. We'll do that one next. We'll do pie chart and Eray. We will get to pie chart and Eray, but let's do Bowls Dandelions first, okay? We're gonna load in this world here. Sick. Glad it's a really good world, dude. Awesome. All right, let's see what's in the blacksmith. There's 2 blacksmiths. Awesome. Yep. Awesome. 3 iron, boots, obsidian. Really cool. 5 iron. That's actually not that great if there's no golem. Oh, there is a golem. Of course there is. Okay, I don't care. Why do I care about the seed? Go away. Anyway, so we want. Let's get some bowls because I see people ask all the time, what do we have bowls? We'll set a block here. We'll go to the nether, and I will show you why we grab these. So, a lot of times I'll enter the nether like this. Obviously not in creative, but I'll have bowls and dandelions somewhere in my inventory, right? So, the reason you do this is because food can be scattered when you're going for, like, hyper... Are you kidding me? It's housing, dude. Are you actually serious? Is there a mob spawner? Of course there is. Yeah, this game is awesome. This game is so cool. Anyway, mushrooms. So if I was in survival here, I would be like, ooh, mushrooms. Very cool. No one sees this, chat. No one sees this. We're in survival. Oh my god, there's both mushroom types. Wow, cool. So what you can do is you can make normal mushroom stew, right? You can make normal mushroom stew right here. Or with dandelions, do this, which gives you suspicious stew. And depending on the flower, you can get multiple different types of suspicious stew. Now, this one in particular is very good. And the reason why people actually do this one is because it gives you saturation. There's other ones you can get. There's ones that are completely useless, like blinding, poison, a whole bunch of bad stuff. But this is saturation. And saturation is really good because what it does... Is this another Bastion? Are you kidding me? But why saturation is so good is because it makes you not have to eat a lot. And it's better than something like regeneration. Because regeneration, while it heals your health, is great. You still have to... If you're throwing a lot of ender pearls in the nether, or you just don't have that much food on you, it's better for saturation than anything else. You can also get saturation with a different type of flower as well. I believe it's the oxeye... No, it's not oxeye. It's the blue orchid in swamp biomes, but most people grab dandelions because they're just more accessible. So normally a suspicious stew heals 3 hunger, or a normal mushroom stew heals 3 hunger. But if I eat this now, it heals 4. It actually heals 6.5. I just didn't want to run around for the hunger the entire time. And you can see, look at how much it heals my health. How insane is that? So that's why dandelions are really good, okay? That's why dandelions are really good. And then, like, if I ate this again here, like, my health went back up to full, and then I have to eat again, it would heal for, like, entirely. It would keep me saturated for, like, a very long time. Give me the last little bit! Okay, there we go. So I'm at 3.5 hunger bars. If I eat the suspicious stew... Boom. Pretty pog. That's why people like suspicious stew. With dandelions, of course. Moving on. Let's do Eray. Let's do Eray. This is actually a really good nether to explain Eray, because we have 2 perfect examples. So, oh, I know one. We're gonna do this first, actually. We're gonna do this first before we do Eray. A lot of people always ask, like, why does your menu look like this? This isn't like the default Minecraft menu, like for video settings and stuff. And the reason for that is I use something called Sodium by Mr. Mango Hands. It's a different release of Sodium that is more optimized for speedrunning things. And I'll leave a link to it in the description for you to grab. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I highly recommend it. But that's why my menu looks like this. So I have different settings and stuff. Think of it as like Optifine, but like a different Optifine, right? That's probably just the best way to describe it. It's like an FPS booster mod. It allows you to do some things with the game. If you're ever curious in my settings, I could turn off my face cam really fast, and you can copy them. But I'm going to show you something here, which is related to my menu. And the next thing we're going to talk about is something called Eray, which a lot of people always ask, why are you, like, zooming in? It's when I do this, basically. When I'm in the nether and I load in, and I do something like this. So normally, as you saw, my normal render settings are, I keep on 25, and that's because that's how far I can, like, see in the overworld without, like, really lagging. And then my quality, I have something called entity distance, and entity distance is at 100 when I'm in the overworld. But when I'm in the nether, I crank it to 500. The reason I don't always keep it at 500 is lag related, and I crank it to 500 in the nether, and then I take my view distance and I turn it down to 16. And then I click apply and okay. So basically what this means is it's going to render entities 500% farther than they normally would. There's another setting that I have off all the time, just called use entity culling. Just keep this off if you're going to use this strategy with Sodium. We're good to go here. We have 16 chunks. We have 500% entity. And I just loaded in the nether. So what you can do is you can turn your FOV down to 30. And this is kind of just making the view of what you're looking at, like, more specific, I guess, is the right term. It's like more accurate, so you can see what direction you need to go. And the thing that we're going to be looking at is this E counter up here. Now, we were going to look at this number, the first number, and the second number. The second number is how many entities are rendered entirely in, like, all of the chunks that you loaded. And the first number is how many are in your current view. And entities are important. Bastions load with their entities inside them. So that means they spawn with the piglins, with the hoglins, with whatever. And you can basically X-ray for them. And it's called Eray because this is an E. So if I go to look at a bastion, which we've already seen 2 in this world, you can see this number kind of spikes here to 40, where this housing bastion was. And then we saw another bastion over here, which was stables, which peaks to around 70. If this number is higher than like 30 to 35, you probably have a bastion. And like stables is always like a super, super big number. So you get like 70 or so. If this number is higher than like 110, 115, you probably have a bastion too. This obviously depends on your render. If I turn this up to like 32, I'm obviously going to load more things. But assuming you're on 16, which is probably like the default, if this is higher than like 110, 115, you probably have a bastion. Now, I'm going to hide my webcam one more time. This is a more advanced type of thing. But if you look here, there's something called M and C. Now, M is 70 and C is like 30. So this adds up to like 100, right? Basically, if this number, whatever this number is, adds up and it equals this number, like say this number was 100, you don't have a bastion. I don't know the specific science stuff on why this happens, but basically, if this number is like 20 or 30 lower than this number, you have a bastion. So if this was like 100 and this said 130, there would be like 1 bastion, but there's 2 bastions, so that's why this number is even higher than normal. So obviously, we can just double check this too. I can turn my render distance, or my FOV back to normal. We already saw that there's a bastion right there, and then the other E-ray was showing that there is a bastion right here. And it's really, really useful on figuring out like where you need to go in the nether. I want to do fortresses now. So, chat, we saw something else. K4 has a really good video on this that I'll leave in the description, but I'll talk about this one a little bit. So, there's something called the pie chart, which is this thing down here. I see people ask all the time, what is this pie chart? What does this do? What does this do? So, if you press F3 and shift at the same time, you get this chart on the bottom, but it's not going to look like that originally. It's going to look like this when you load it up. And what you have to do is you can see very small numbers down here, and there's text next to them. So you want to click on whatever number is corresponding to tick, which is 4 for me. Then you want to click on whichever one is level, which is 1 for me. Then entities, and then block entities. And this will get you to this chart right here. And basically what this tells you, what block entities are around. So things like chests, mob spawners, furnaces. This is how we can find blacksmiths in the overworld, which I'll go show in like plains villages and stuff. But for this, it really is helpful in the nether for finding a mob spawner, because if you have a mob spawner, unless it's a treasure bastion, it means a fortress. Based on the fact that we have 2 bastions here, there's obviously going to be a lot of chests loaded, which there are. So this might be fake. It might take us to a treasure bastion, but this also is most likely to take us to a fortress. Like, you know, think about it this way. It's like, if there's a mob spawner, it's basically like a 50-50 shot that it's a fortress. And if the number is like really high, if this percentage, it's at 7% right now. If this was higher than like 15, it's almost like a guaranteed fortress. We know there's a bastion in this quadrant. I've talked about quadrants before. We know there's a bastion in Pause Neg. We know there's a bastion in Neg Neg. So let's go Neg Pause and see what we can find, because we know there's going to be... Boom. That was easy. Look at that. That was easy. I'll turn my webcam back on too. I forgot about it. So we knew that because there were 2 bastions in these quadrants and we have a mob spawner, the best way to go would be this way. This seed is insane, by the way. Yeah, this seed is insane. You cannot E-ray for a fortress. So we talked about this earlier, but basically bastions load in their entities when they spawn. Like, it spawns with the piglins, it spawns with the hoglins, whatever. Fortresses don't do that. Fortresses do not do that. For some reason, they just don't. I don't know the why, but you can't E-ray for a fortress because it doesn't spawn with the entities. So you have to rely on the F3 shift. That's the best way to find fortresses at the moment. Before we do divine travel, let's talk about how villages and stuff work, because this is something that I do a lot and people get confused by it. So we talked about the F3 thing here, right? So in a plains village and desert village, if you see Minecraft : furnace, which is very obvious. It's this white one here. You don't even need to read it. You just need to know that it's white. That means you have a blacksmith, which is really good, obviously. And it could mean you have multiple, like this seed here. So that's how I, like, if I spawned, like, here on this seed, right? And I usually spawn in, I do, like, my F3 check, I start my timer, and I go. And then if I would do this, like, right away, and I'd be like, okay, I know there's a blacksmith somewhere, and I don't see it here, I don't see it there, it has to be this way. And I would run this way, and I would find, boom, blacksmith. So that's something that can be really useful as well that I use a lot of times that people get confused about. So let's do divine. Let's talk about divine travel. Hello there. So you can press F3G on your keyboard. This is going to be talking about divine travel now. This is like super big brain stuff, so don't feel bad if you don't understand it, because honestly, I don't even understand it. So we're going to look at our coordinates here, and we're going to try and get to the 0, 0 chunk, which is going to take me this way. So what I mean by 0, 0 chunk is my X is going to be super low, my Z is going to be super low. If I'm standing on this block, I'm at 0, 0. This chunk box that I'm in is 0, 0, okay? And I have a fossil. Now, what divine travel is basically is taking a structure or a mob spawn like turtles or horses or something that spawn in 0, 0. Basically, take that structure, and because a lot of structures can be related to in Minecraft, you can get a rough estimate on where the stronghold is. So this one is 8. This is 8. So you're going to look at your X coordinate. That's the only coordinate that matters. Your Z doesn't matter. Obviously, it has to be in this chunk, so your Z can't be, like, you know, above 16. My X coordinate, when I'm looking at this fossil, is 8. Okay? So there's a bunch of charts and stuff. I'll leave a video talking about this in the description below by Matthew Bolin. It's really, really helpful. But there's a chart, which I'm going to pull up my own Twitch chat, that tells you, basically, where you need to go. I need to go to -251, -50. There's 3 possible ones you can go to. I'm just going to go to the closest one, or the first one. So we're going to go to -251. We could get rid of this right about here, right? -250, -51 is obviously close enough. So we're going to put a nether portal here, and this is going to put us pretty close to the stronghold. And usually divine is within like 600 blocks or so. So we do locate stronghold, and boom, 364. Again, it's super high tech. I don't understand it fully. I just do what the smart people do and smile, and it works out for me. The last thing I'm going to do with like super high tech stuff here, I think, is going to be distance estimation. So this is really useful for if you blind travel normally, not on a divine, to know if the stronghold is close or not. Because if you're doing a divine travel, which is extremely rare, you know that it's going to be close, right? You know that's obviously going to be relatively close. But if you're just blind traveling, you're going to have no idea. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about how you can get angles and do some cool math stuff that's actually super easy to get to the to figure out where the stronghold is a lot faster than normal. We're going to throw our first eye, pretend we just blind traveled, we're on like world record pace, oh my god. We throw our eye, we get the angle, it is 175.1 about. So we're going to pick up our eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 90 degrees to the right, which would be like 85.1. It doesn't have to be like super exact or anything, right? But just like a rough estimate, you want it to be about 90 degrees. And then you want to run 4 sprint jumps. So that's 2, 3, 4. And you're going to throw another eye. I did this wrong. No, I didn't. No, 177.2. No, I didn't do this wrong. My jump was a little bit weird because of the changing terrain, but this wasn't too off. So this angle was 177.2, I believe. So the math you then want to do when you have your 2 angles, you have 177.2 and 175.1. You want to take the difference between them, which is 2.1 difference angle change. And then you want to take that number and do 1,000 divided by that number. So 1,000 divided by 2.1 is about like 480. We already know this is like 352. But the point is, you know the stronghold is within 500 blocks of you. Again, this was a little bit off because of the terrain here. So if I did like, I don't know, we'll run like this way. This is like way cleaner terrain. So if we do this, we could probably get a more accurate number. This is going to be 166.3. Also 2 broke. That's super cool. And then we're going to go What was it, 166? So like 73.3, right? So like here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Throw the eye. 168.7. So that was like 2.5. So that's like 350 now. Locate Stronghold. Yeah. So we're within like 50 blocks of what it actually is. Which is really cool. And it's really good that you can do that. So that's a really good way to tell like if I'm on like good pace or not. Like if I'm blind traveling at like 10 minutes in and the angle changes like nothing, I'm just resetting, right? Because I don't want to run like 2,000 blocks. So hopefully that makes sense. Why do I reset? That's a good one. Why do I reset? I have 23,000 plus resets, and the reason I reset a lot, I get asked all the time, like, why don't you just play out a seed? Not every seed is world recordable. Like, not even close. You need to reset extremely hard, and frankly, I should be resetting more often, but I don't reset often enough because then it's just not an entertaining stream. So I reset. I try to find the good balance between interesting runs and resetting so that the runs are actually good runs, and that's a hard balance to find as a streamer. Last thing we're gonna do is talk about dragon perching, and kind of we can just talk about one cycling in general, I guess. So I'm gonna enter the end here. If I'm spawning in, you want to obviously just find where you're going. A lot of times you're gonna have an ender pearl, or if you don't, you know, you just take the L and like bridge. But assuming you have an ender pearl, you're gonna throw it on over. You're gonna go here. You're like, okay, cool. And you want to run to the middle. You want to have a piece of obsidian or crying obsidian, something like that. And you want to place it right here, or this side, depending on what you prefer. But point is, it's on a corner like this. And that way, you're going to place your beds like so. And they're going to explode. And the obsidian doesn't break, and you can place it easily. So then, once you like set up your middle, you want to run all the way to either the right or the left side. I went to the right here just because that's what I'm useful for one part, and second part, it's more like common, I think. And plus I had a bunch of real estate here. I think most people just go to the right. And I also turned on hitboxes, which is really good. That it just makes it easier to one cycle the dragon. I'll leave a link to a video that explains one cycling a bit more, but just the point of this is that like why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. The dragon might perch here. It does. I actually might miss this. No, I'm not gonna miss. And then you just kind of want to line yourself up and hit the one cycle. Yay. I almost messed up the first bed was too low, so I had to bed really, really early. But that's how you do it. And I feel like that's a pretty good kind of summary of most things that I get asked like all the time in speedrunning. But why does it perch? It perches because you stand far away. You want to stand far away. You want to stand far. People ask all the time like why my Minecraft is so bright. I play with Gamma 5. My brightness is on 500%. Basically, all you want to do for that is if I switch to my desktop really fast. So here's my .minecraft folder. I have a bunch of stuff in here because it's my .minecraft folder. But Fabric is my speedrunning one. You go to your options.txt, which for some reason was over here. And you get this giant lump of stuff that you don't really think about. The thing you want to focus on is Gamma. Turn this to 5.0. You don't want it any higher. You want it to be 5.0. Normally, it's going to look like this. You want it to look like this. And once you did that, you're good to go. And then your Minecraft will be bright. And I think that's everything. I think we have solved the issues.